much of a difference does Jordan make to your punt return, and what's it like to have him in that role?
Well, obviously we've had more punt return yardage in the last 2 games than we have all season. Jordan's just a dynamic guy, and he can do things that you can't coach, and he's got the ball in his hands. He's pretty good, and we did not want to use him in that role. We didn't want him taking hits, and we tried to survive without him. But the difference is obvious.
He'll continue to be the punt returner.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
What have you seen from Kirk this season?
Kirk?
Yeah.
Kirk is a very conscientious guy, maybe to a fault. Sometimes he's just over conscientious, and he's just trying to get in the groove. He's had a hard time. We had some protection issues early that knocked him out of a groove, and we've had some weather issues, all the wind out of Virginia Tech. So he's just trying to get in the groove, and we're trying to do everything we can to help him with protections and some other things, and it's the art of punting is you think it's really easy, but it is so precise, and the ball being off an inch here, to drop an inch wide or drop an inch inside or an inch with the ball to point down or point up, it's not an easy thing, and so just trying to get his groove back.
How can you be over conscientious?
Just go kick. Just go kick. Just like if you were not at practice, just really over concentrating on his steps, his drops, the protection. We got different protection calls, which makes him do different things, and being worried about this and worried about that, and that's how you over concentrate.
Do you have to sort of talk him through that?
Yeah.
What broke down on the blocked field goal the other day?
Well, it was a combination of things. The kick was low. We'd like for the kick to at least be 10 feet as it crossed the line of scrimmage, and we felt like the kick was at 10 feet or maybe a little bit below. There's no way to truly measure. And we thought the protection broke down a little bit. We got knocked back. So if we hold the defense on the line of scrimmage and the ball crosses the line of scrimmage at 10 foot high, we feel like we're going to be pretty safe. But for every yard the defense penetrates, you lose a foot. So the defense penetrated and got in our backfield between 2.5 to 3 yards, which now makes it about 7 feet, 8 feet. You got to, so that was the issue.
Andre, with Sam, is it a similar thing? Not all of his kicks have been pretty.
Yeah.
Most of them have gone through. Is it the same thing? Just go kick. Don't worry about how.
Yeah, you don't get any extra points if they go through sideways. So we just concentrate on it going between the pipes, and he gets it between the pipes. He gets a Scooby snack, and he's had 13 out of 15 goals. So, everybody, really liked and enjoyed watching Kessman kick. And I don't have the records in front of me, but I'm not for sure Kessman was 13 for 15 at any point in his career.
Is the extra points a concern?
Obviously you want to get every point you can get. And in last week's game, that 1 point mattered. It mattered at the end. May have made North Carolina go for it on 4th down. We don't know how it played out. But we want to get every point we can get. And sometimes when the offense goes on the field, we're backed up. We need to get 2 first downs minimum. So sometimes on offense, you don't expect to score, right? Every time the field goal team goes on the field, we expect points. Otherwise, we send the punt team out. So every point counts. Every point matters.
I know he's in the room and makes it tougher, but what's it like to have Cal from a leadership ability standpoint as part of those teams?
He's done fantastic. In my career, I've only had 2 specialists that rose to the leadership roles like Cal has. The other kid was Brad Craddock at Maryland. He may have been the best leader on the team and won the Lou Groza Award. And guys respect other guys that work hard, make their craft as near perfect as they can. That's always where they're supposed to be, early, do what they're supposed to do, work hard. Those guys are respected, and And you don't have to seek leadership roles. When you do those types of things, the leadership roles come to you, and that's what Cal's done.
Did you say you rewarded him with a Scooby snack?
That was, we're not really a Scooby snack. That's
Oh, okay. What about, how do you reward him?
hug them.
That's it?
Dap them up. Nice job. Yeah.
Nice handshake.
Nice handshake. Pat on the behind.
Make sure you do it again next
Yeah.
time. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Andre, for the seniors on special teams, sometimes it may not have gone the way they wanted, or they thought they would. What's that relationship like? And those guys that persevered and remained on special teams.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because the last couple of days, as guys trickle into my office, the seniors, I mentioned to them, this is your last game in Heinz Field. And I asked them, do you remember your first game? Most guys don't remember their first game. Some guys remember their first game not being in a position to play, and they talk about how they heard the seniors talk about, hey, this is our last go around, blah, blah, blah. Now it's them. It's them. And so it's a totally different feeling. And, we've got some upperclassmen that have played, some seniors that have played really well. In fact, we're going to add a couple more seniors this week that have done a good job, and we're going to reward them by letting them start on special teams.
With Trey on special teams, specifically, seventh-year guy, and he's down to a handful of punts for you guys.
Right.
What have you seen his commitment to that aspect of the game?
Well, that's one of his roles. I mean, he's taken to that role. He does a good job with it, and anytime the ball's around the 50 and we're punting, he knows he's in, and so he's done a good job there.
You guys have had some games this season where the running game kind of takes control in the second half. Why do you think that was a problem on Thursday night, not being able to do that?
Well, first of all, if you watch North Carolina's defense, the last couple of weeks they've been improved. I know they gave up a bunch of points to Wake Forest, but they've really improved, and I think they continue to improve. We didn't have our starting tackle Hoy; he didn't play, and then we lost Jake on the second play. That doesn't help. But give them the credit. I mean, they played hard. They got to the ball, and they shut us down. And normally when that happens, we can rebound with throwing the football. We just couldn't quite get in gear the other night. We didn't only had the ball for a handful of plays in the third quarter, and couldn't get in a rhythm. And give North Carolina credit for doing a good job.
When it comes to the rotation, getting these guys snaps, what have you seen from Vincent over the last few weeks that I guess has shored up his spot in the rotation?
Well, we try to keep guys fresh, because we always think that you got to win the game in the fourth quarter, and we've had some games when the running game took over in the fourth quarter. So we're trying to keep guys fresh. So in the event we get in the fourth quarter, we can run the ball, possess the ball, and keep our defense off the field. We've done that quite a bit, and so we've got a specific plan of when we put guys in and when we take guys out. And there's some scenarios and some situations where guys will get the nod. So, we couldn't do it without Vince. It would be much more difficult without Vince. So everyone has a role, and just if everyone buys into their role, which they have, then going into the fourth quarter, we're fresh, and that's what we're trying to do: be fresh in the fourth quarter and win the game in the fourth quarter.
Some seniors may not like just working on special teams instead of being on snaps. How is Trey taking his role on the team?
Well,
Not getting snaps on offense.
Well, he played some snaps on offense.
He does,
the other night.
Yeah,
But it's what it is. I mean, it's something to be said about being a part of a team, the brotherhood, the camaraderie, and I think Trey understands that. Trey is a leader among the wideout groups. He's smart. He's been around some of those younger guys that are playing ahead of him, and they come off the field. They can talk to Trey. He can tell them what he saw, and he can help those guys. And that says a lot about Trey.
Rodney wasn't like a heralded recruit, and I don't think he had a lot of buzz coming in here. When did you guys know he was going to be a big part of this offense?
We thought he was a good player, and as far as stars go, he didn't go to one of those schools where it's heavily recruited, and some of that star stuff is overrated. We rely on our own eyes and our own evaluation. So we thought he was a good player in high school. We knew he wasn't a big guy. But we knew he had quicks, and he was tough, and he had ball skills. So I didn't know he would be an impact so early, but I thought he would be a good player. He's proven that.
With Izzy, where have you seen him develop most from week one to now?
The biggest thing with Izzy is his total understanding of pass protections in the pass game. That was his issue as a freshman. He got overwhelmed with the amount of defenses and the amount of adjustments that takes place in the pass protection, and specifically where he fits in the passing game. He got overwhelmed with that. And I think now he can communicate with the line. He understands it when he hears it. Sometimes if he doesn't hear it, he can see it. And that takes time. So, some people develop quicker than others based on their background and so forth. And he really didn't have a true camp. That was a COVID camp. He didn't have the summer and all those things. Also in the running game, to understand leverage, understand tracks and combination blocks and where the ball should go, and understanding where the safeties are fitting. He's just growing up, and it's pleasing to see how he's developed. He's going to be a really, really good player before it's said and done.
What has Todd Sibley meant as a veteran in this running back room and also on special teams for you?
Well, again, Sibley provides leadership. I've got some young guys in there that sometimes don't know how to prepare, and he keeps them focused that way, and he's done a good job in his role on special teams. I mean, those guys that stick around that aren't playing a lot on offense, they love the game. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. So when they get a chance to play, their passion for the game, you can see it in their play. He's done a real fine job for us.